Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be checking out some very cool battles in the Open Master League featuring XL Level 51 Zarude. These battles were submitted to the channel by a member of the community, so many thanks for the battle submission. Now, getting an XL mythical Pokemon is a pretty tough thing to do. It requires a ton of Rare Candy XL, which can be most commonly encountered as a rare drop from in-person raids. I personally don't have an XL mythical, so I'm excited to see how it does. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out XL Zarude in action. Dream lead in the first match, Zarude into Giratina Origin. Opponent is going to save switch into Zacian, and without a hard punish to Zacian on the team, Zarude is going to stay in here and get some chip damage with the Power Whip. Power Whip is able to land. In comes Landorus. Landorus will be able to tank at least one charge move from Zacian. Zacian goes for the play rough. Landorus does take quite a bit of damage, but is going to be able to survive and make it to the Stone Edge. This Stone Edge will easily KO the low health Zacian. Zacian committing a shield, trying to make a play for switch here. Zacian is going to fire off another charge move. We do see a shield come up from the Landorus. Landorus is going to continue to farm. Zacian switches back into the Giratina, taking advantage of the desync switch timers, firing off the Stone Edge to try and stall the clock, and hopefully Landorus is going to be able to switch out here. Landorus is able to bank the superpower for later, and in comes Zarude. Zarude is extremely tanky and is going to be resisting Giratina's standard moveset. Zarude will be able to tank 2 Shadow Balls no problem, and honestly, you can pretty safely farm up to the back-to-back Dark Pulses here, all the way to 100 energy. Zarude is going to farm up to 100 energy and going to fire off the Dark Pulse. This way, Zarude gets rid of the Giratina and has an entire charge move to throw at whatever the opponent has in back, which ends up being a Togekiss. Togekiss isn't going to appreciate seeing this Exca in the back. Togekiss does get the farm down. In comes Excadrill, and now Exca can start spamming out Rock Slides. Exca continues to farm up, firing off the Rock Slide. This Rock Slide will come very close to KOing. Rock Slide gets the Togekiss low, aggressive switch into the Zacian, and Zacian is going to fire off a close combat. Immediate shield from Exca, needing to try and preserve HP, and going for the Drill Run. Opponent still does have a shield. Opponent is going to let that through, trusting in the Togekiss. Togekiss makes the Flamethrower. This is not good. Can one Mud Shot from this Landorus KO? Yes, it can! And that is a good game. Picking up a pretty nice lead in the next match, Zarude into Palkia. Zarude continuing to farm. Palkia is going to fire off a charge move, but I believe they're actually one short of the Draco Meteor here. Zarude is not going to have to shield that, as the opponent did not bait the Draco Meteor, and now Zarude is in a very comfortable position in this match. Fires off the Power Whip. They're going to fire off a second Aqua Tail. That's perfectly fine, as Zarude is going to be able to tank this. Zarude is going to bank that energy for later. Aggressive switch into Exca. Exca is going to be met with an Aqua Tail. Exca will be able to shield once and then fully commit to the farm down. Opponent is not going to let that happen. They're going to switch in their own Exca, but they're going to have to commit shields to do so, as they are at a massive energy deficit. Drill Run number 1 gets the shield, and now Exca firing off Drill Run number 2. This will be grabbing the opponent's final shield, and with shields down, Therian Landorus should be able to put in a lot of work. On top of that, Zarude still has a charge move loaded. Drill Run is going to KO, but Zarude has the Power Whip loaded. This will be getting Exca extremely low. Zarude fires off the Power Whip, aggressive switch into the Landorus, as Exca is going to be firing off a charge move. Exca clicked on the Drill Run by mistake. Opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes the match. Moving into the next match, picking up a great lead, Zarude into Excadrill, and the opponent is staying in, so they very well could be weak to Zarude somewhere in the back. Exca is going to fire off the Rock Slide, and that just does absolutely no damage. Zarude should be able to land a Power Whip, tank the second move, and fully farm down. Zarude actually decides to go for a catch, catching the Rock Slide onto Therian Landorus. Landorus is going to be able to absorb that energy, but in comes Mamoswine, and this is incredibly bad. Mamoswine looking for the farm down, and they're going to get it, as unfortunately Landorus is going to die without getting the second superpower off, and a Mamoswine with energy is absolutely deadly versus this team. Back in comes Zarude. Zarude has a shield advantage, but Zarude is incredibly far behind on energy, and Mamoswine is able to reach a second Avalanche, things going from bad to worse. Zarude continuing to try and play out of it, going for the Power Whip, hoping that for some reason Mamoswine is going to no shield. Mamoswine is going to shield, and this is really bad. Mamoswine able to reach the Avalanche. Avalanche is going to be taking out the Zarude, and now it's all up to Exca to try and close this game. Exca is going to be able to outpace the Mamo and get to the Drill Run on the CMP tie. Drill Run is going to be taking out the Mamoswine. We'll have to see what do they have in the back. Is it Dialga? It's Giratina Origin, and that is a good game. Tricky lead in the next match, Zarude into Melmetal. Melmetal, of course, is able to hit for super effective damage with Superpower, but once a Superpower is thrown, Melmetal is going to lower its own attack and defense. Superpower lands onto Zarude, and a beautiful catch, catching Superpower number 2 onto the Landorus. Very nicely done. Opponent is going to send in Palkia, and unfortunately, there is a little bit of lag. Thankfully, the fast moves are able to catch up, and it looks like that may have been a CMP tie. Stone Edge to the Aqua Tail. Stone Edge is able to land. Palkia fires back with the Aqua Tail. Landorus decides to shield at the absolute last second. Landorus continuing to farm, going for the Superpower, and again able to win CMP over the Palkia. Landorus has an incredibly high attack stat. Superpower gets the shield, and thanks to the CMP tie, Palkia is no longer able to farm down. Down goes Landorus, in comes Zarude, firing off a fast move, and then going for the Power Whip. This Power Whip is going to KO. We know the opponent, of course, still does have that Melmetal, and Melmetal is a very tricky Pokemon for this team to see, especially when it has an energy lead. Gonna be firing off the Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse is gonna get the Melmetal below half health. Zarude continuing to farm, and this Superpower is going to be enough to KO. Calls it, opponent baits with Rock Slide, and it's Lugia in the back. Zarude firing off the Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse is going to be getting the shield from the Lugia, and now it's all up to Exca to try and win this game. Exca continuing to farm, and is at the back-to-back Rock Slides, firing off the first Rock Slide onto Lugia. Lugia able to tank that Rock Slide like it's nothing. Lugia does have quite a bit of energy here. We do see the shield. Lugia full sends the Aeroblast. Thankfully, they do not get the boost. That is quite nice. Exca is going to be firing off another Rock Slide. We'll need a third Rock Slide to KO the Lugia here. So continuing to farm, goes for the Rock Slide, but a beautiful catch by the opponent, catching the Rock Slide onto the Melmetal. That is quite unfortunate. Farming up the switch, and a good catch deserves another, catching the Superpower back onto Zarude. Man, this is a game. Exca able to reach the Drill Run. This will be taking care of the Melmetal. Can Exca outpace the Lugia here? This is going to be close. Lugia continuing to farm. Lugia is not going to make the Aeroblast. This Rock Slide will be taking care of the Lugia, and that is a good game. Dream lead in the next match, Zarude into Mewtwo, and they're staying in this matchup, so they must be absolutely core broken by Zarude. Mewtwo is going to fire off a charge move. They are a double legacy Mewtwo, so this matchup is even better. Zarude is going to farm up very close to 100 energy and fire off the Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse is able to land, taking out the Mewtwo. In comes Dialga. Dialga is going to be hit with the Dark Pulse. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see a pivot here. Get some chip damage, and then you can pivot into one of your two ground types. In comes Landorus, and able to bait out the Kyogre, and based on that, this game should be over. Landorus able to win CMP over the Kyogre, which is quite nice. Stone Edge able to land, and Kyogre not able to farm down since they're stuck throwing their charge move. Surf is going to KO. Kyogre is going to be met with Zarude. Zarude farming up, firing off the Power Whip just before they reach their next charge move. This Power Whip will easily KO if they let it through, which they do. Back in comes Dialga. Zarude still not done, putting in so much work in this matchup. Dark Pulse gets the shield. In comes Exca, and this game is definitely over. Dialga holding out hope, but there's just no way they're going to be able to win it, even with a successful Iron Head bait. Exca is going to be able to farm up and begin to start firing off these charge moves. Drill Run number 1 is going to get the shield. Farming up, able to get to Drill Run number 2. This will be taking out the Dialga and securing the win. Tough lead in the next match, Zarude into Zacian. Thankfully, it is a Snarl Zacian, which means that Zacian has absolutely no fast move pressure here. Zacian is going to fire off a charge move. Zarude tanks whatever they throw. They go for the play rough. Zarude able to survive and will fire back with the Power Whip. This Power Whip is going to be getting that Zacian very low. Power Whip able to land. Banks the Power Whip. Switches into Landorus. Into the loaded play rough. This play rough is going to hurt. Play rough does quite a bit of damage and able to bait out the Giratina Origin. That's That's quite nice. Farming up, going for the Stone Edge, and successfully securing a CMP tie. That is massive. This is going to prevent the opponent from farming down, which is quite nice. Giratina forced to fire off the Ominous Wind. Ominous Wind is going to KO. Thankfully, no boost. In comes Zarude. Zarude is going to be firing off this Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse will easily KO. Dark Pulse gets the shield. Giratina continues to farm, and it's another Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse is going to force the final shield, and the opponent is stuck firing off another charge move. Let's go. They go for the Ominous Wind. Looks like a bit of an undercharge. Aggressive switch into Exca. Exca able to reach the Drill Run. This Drill Run should be very close to taking out the Giratina. Drill Run is going to KO. In the back is Dialga. Oh my goodness, this opponent not having a great day going up against this Excadrill. Exca is going to fire off the Drill Run. One Drill Run is not going to be enough to KO. Dialga is able to tank it, and Dialga will reach a charge move. But from here, Exca's in a great spot. They can very safely shield, farm down, and fire off the charge move whenever the opponent brings back in the Zacian. In comes Zacian into the loaded Drill Run. Exca is going to be able to take care of the Dialga, and that is a good game. Nightmare lead in the final match, Zarude into Togekiss. The Landorus save switch is able to bait out the Giratina, which should hopefully clear the way for Exca in the endgame. Giratina is going to go straight for the Shadow Ball, and that's able to land, dealing a massive amount of damage onto the Landorus. Landorus barely able to hang on and reach the Stone Edge. Stone Edge will do some solid damage, but Landorus is going to fall short of the second Stone Edge and is forced to settle for the double resisted Superpower. Superpower not going to be doing a lot of damage, little bit of lag, but eventually Landorus faints as it's supposed to. In comes Zarude into the loaded Giratina. Giratina is going to start firing off these resisted charge moves. Shadow Ball just does absolutely nothing. Zarude continues to farm. Again, a little bit of lag, able to reach the Dark Pulse. This Dark Pulse is going to be taking out the Giratina, and now it is 2-shield Exca versus the world. In comes Togekiss, met with Exca, and it's a Melmetal in the back with an energy lead. Exca may be able to clutch this. Exca going for the Drill Run. This Drill Run is going to hurt if it lands. Melmetal is going to commit the shield. Melmetal has farmed up quite a bit of energy here. Tough decision to make. Are they baiting with a Rock Slide? Commits the shield and gets baited with a Rock Slide. That is quite unfortunate. Firing off a second Drill Run. Is the Melmetal willing to burn the final shield? Yes, they are. Exca continues to farm. Tough decision to make. Deciding to call the Rock Slide bait, and it's the Rock Slide! What a crazy read. Opponent is going to fire off their second charge move. This is the Superpower. Exca going for the Drill Run, but the opponent makes a sensational catch, catching the Drill Run back onto the Togekiss. Oh my goodness. Togekiss does have some stored energy from earlier, which is a bit scary. Firing off the Rock Slide. This Rock Slide is going to be able to land, getting that Togekiss quite low. Exca continues to farm, tried to go for the catch, but unfortunately slightly mistimed it. Thankfully, it's just a double resisted Ancient Power. Exca is going to bank a move and send in Zarude. Zarude farming up, able to reach the Power Whip. This is resisted, but it is going to KO the Togekiss. And now the question is, can this Zarude get the Melmetal into a range where a Drill Run is going to KO? They continue to farm. They let the Zarude get to the Dark Pulse, and that will be game over. Zarude fires off the Dark Pulse. It's going to get the Melmetal low. It doesn't matter if Melmetal builds up to the back-to-back moves, because Exca is able to win CMP. Rock Slide takes out the Zarude, but the Exca has the Drill Run loaded. Drill Run taking care of the Melmetal and securing the win. All in all, XL Zarude looks like an absolute beast in the Open Master League, and it is my sincere hope that whether through putting Zarude into elite raids or through increasing opportunities to get Rare Candy XL, the Niantic will continue to make it easier to get these XL mythical Pokemon, because they can do a ton of work in the Master League if you're able to get them. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you, as always, to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.